Hi, Rosa is here. I'm Senior Sustainability Associate from SUHO, and today we are going to have a conversation with the building certifier, James. Would you please introduce yourself?
Thanks, Rosa. My name is James. I'm a building surveyor from Halliwell Global.
So James, let's start with the big picture. For those who haven't been following NCC 2025 updates, what are the key changes introduced in NCC, and which one do you think will have the biggest impact on the building industry?
In my opinion, the changes from BCA NCC 2022 to 2025 are incremental. They consist mostly of clarifications and amendments throughout the BCA. So say for example in section C, there are changes to fire resistance to car parks, open deck car parks. With section D, there's adoption of the definitions from AS 1428 in relation to ramps. There's clarification on when handrails are required, when thresholds can be exempt. Section E, there's clarification and additional requirements for emergency services to lifts. Section F, there's a change to condensation management and weatherproofing, changes to sanitary facility requirements, particularly inclusion of all gender facilities. Section G, there are more clarifications and requirements in regards to pool safety barrier. With Section J, generally there's an incremental change as well to the performance of the buildings when it comes to energy use. Key to note is that this does not apply to Class 2, and we still refer to NCC or BCA 2022 for Class 2 buildings.
Okay. Has NCC 2025 now been fully adopted?
In the state of Victoria, as of the 1st of May 2026, yes, BCA 2025 has been adopted. Of course, do refer to your state and territory authorities, as there may be variations in adoption dates depending on where you are.
Perfect. So for the projects that are currently being designed, how do project team determine whether NCC 2022 or NCC 2025 applies?
That's a good question. In Victoria, the legislation requires that the building surveyor make a determination, and this includes the consideration of what's called as substantial completion in the design, or substantial progress in the design. So, for example, if the relevant building surveyor, the RBS, is of the mind that the project has been documented to a stage where substantial progress has been made prior to the 1st of May 2026, then yes, the building surveyor will have discretion to consider the application of BCA 2022 instead of BCA 2025.
Great. One question we hear quite often is about transition arrangements. Is there any transition period or grandfathering provision that project teams should be aware of?
This varies between states and territories. So in Victoria, as previously mentioned, the relevant building surveyor can consider the application of BCA, that is prior to BCA 2025, on the basis that they are of the mind that substantial progress has been made to the design. Further to that, Regulation 233 allows the consideration of partial compliance for existing buildings, which may be considered by the building surveyor as well. Outside of Victoria, depending on the state or territory you're in, there may be legislation that is applicable that discusses or talks about transitional requirements for BCA 2025.
Cool. So from your experience as a building surveyor, what can architect, developer, and consultants do early in a project to minimize redesign, approval delays, and compliance issue under NCC 2025?
The first advice I would give is to ascertain which BCA is applicable with the relevant building surveyor. I think this would then set the benchmark of what is expected and required in the documentation. Secondly, when it comes to documentation, my opinion is that there should be a focus, an increased focus in the stringency or the accuracy of documentation, particularly in weatherproofing and in consideration of energy use, particularly for commercial buildings.
Perfect. If you could give project teams just one piece of advice when they are working on a project under NCC 2025, what that would be?
I would say the greatest change you can make in the design team would be to have a focus on documentation, be it drawings or specifications or the like, particularly when it comes to providing documentation to show compliance with weatherproofing and condensation management. It is not uncommon for projects these days to be procured under the design and construct process. So it is not uncommon when the design process is happening alongside procurement, there may be misalignment or misunderstanding in the requirements because there may be members in the design team where they do not understand the changes in BCA 2025.
That makes sense. Finally, from a business area's perspective, what are the most common reasons you see projects delayed during the building approval process, regardless of whether they are being assessed under NCC 2022 or 25?
My opinion, usually the causes for delays would be uncertainty. That could be how the project is staged or what the requirements are. So I would say it is always critical to verify with the relevant building survey as to which BCA is applicable, firstly. Once that is done, then at least that sets the benchmark on what needs to be documented to show compliance. With BCA 2025, I would say put in the effort and have a focus on documentation when it comes to weatherproofing, particularly condensation management.
Awesome. Thanks, gents. And do you have any last comment?
Yes, beyond BCA 2025, at least in Victoria, we do have changes to the building legislation as of 1st of July 2026. So this includes changes to home warranty insurance, powers with the Building and Planning Commission, notification powers, as well as orders from the Building and Planning Commission. Changes in the levy as well. Most of these changes apply to multi-residential high-rise buildings, so 3 stories or class 2 buildings. So do keep an eye out on those changes. They will be flowing through the industry pretty quick.
Okay. Thank you, gents, for your time, and I really appreciate the updates regarding NCC 2025. And definitely we will be in touch if you have any further questions.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching.